Wanda and Vision.
We are an unusual couple, you know. We don't have an anniversary.
Huh.
Or a song. Or even wedding rings.
Well, we could rather do that. And they lived happily ever after.
Westview is our home now. I want us to fit in.
We shall. Wanda, have you gotten bigger?
Life moves pretty fast out in the suburbs.
Hiya, kids. Auntie Agnes is here, and I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve. Let's just take it from the top.
Who are you?
I don't know.
I think something's wrong here.
We just don't know what to expect.
Welcome back, everyone. Merry Christmas. Marvel dropped a new Wandavision trailer with a bunch of new footage, so we'll break it down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs. Obviously, I'll be doing videos for all of the episodes. That's going to start in a couple weeks, so be sure to subscribe to get all those. Because it's Christmas, we'll also do a Disney Plus giveaway for memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just let me know which new Marvel Phase 4 series you're most hyped up about. I'll talk a little bit about how this connects to Loki and the other series, the other Marvel Phase 4 movies, because WandaVision is like the real first Marvel Phase 4 project that they have running, and it's going to sort of set off the big Marvel Phase 4 trope of the multiverse that they're going to rely on really heavily as a story device. Everyone thinking about Spider-Man 3 and all the Spider-Verse stuff with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield that it seems like is happening behind the scenes, so hopefully Marvel will also start talking about that real soon too. Just gotta wait for Tom Holland to leak some of that information. But the cool thing about this version of the trailer is that Marvel is just calling it reality, which is obviously a meta reference to a couple big different Avengers ideas. It's a reference to the new reality that Scarlet Witch creates for them in the town of Westview. That's also a bit of a West Coast Avengers reference for those of you that are big classic comic book fans. There are also a lot of West Coast Avengers Easter eggs and references happening in some of the other Marvel Phase 4 movies that are coming up that I'll talk about when we get to those. There's a lot of Avengers stuff in Marvel Phase 4 that's just happening on the actual West Coast of the United States. Reality is also a reference to the Reality Stone, the Infinity Stone, because we see the Infinity Stones in the trailer, like the Mind Stone. Thanos used the Reality Stone to change his reality as he saw fit. That's pretty much what Scarlet Witch is doing in the trailer here, constantly changing their bubble dimension of reality as she sees fit. And you'll also remember that when Thanos was using the Reality Stone, the effect was this red energy that looks a lot like the red energy that she gives off when she's using her powers. Even though she got her powers from the Mind Stone, and usually the energy that comes out of the Mind Stone is yellow, like the stone itself. Reality is also a reference to the alternate realities in the multiverse. Big trope, story device of Marvel Phase 4. Like, this alternate reality that they're living in is a TV-based dimension. But they cycle through the decades again with a whole bunch of new scenes and more focus on bigger Easter eggs. Just going through this shot by shot though, they started in the 1950s in the I Love Lucy, Bewitched, Donna Reed looking version of reality in black and white. Notice the patterns and designs all over the house, that diamond symbol with the dot in the middle. Not just all over the house, but also all over Vision's clothes. What does that remind you of? The Mind Stone, formerly in his forehead. Obviously, in the trailer footage, he's got it in his forehead, but that also plays into the idea that Scarlet Witch is altering reality to make things like they used to be when he was alive, because in present day, Vision is still supposed to be dead. A lot of what's going on in the series is her processing her grief and slowly trying to move forward with her life. And obviously, because this is just so crazy, she can't do that at the beginning of the series. That's why she creates this alternate reality where he's alive again and they can live out this life together. But there were a lot of people after Avengers Endgame that asked, why didn't the Hulk just snap Vision back when he was bringing everyone back? Well, obviously now we know the reason is because they were going to do the WandaVision series and deal with all the Vision stuff during this. You notice when Vision turns around, the special effects look like they're period specific from the Bewitched TV show, as if they're actually living in a reality based on that TV show. So when she uses her power to alter reality, you get the 1950s looking version of that red energy effect. You do see some scenes in present day with her altering the reality with the red energy, but that's when they move to the modern era of TV shows. They talk about how they don't have any of the common relationship tropes of real couples, like wedding anniversaries, a favorite song that they share. That's just because they never had the chance to do that. Vision was killed just as their relationship was starting to get serious. She uses her powers to create rings for them, and then when Vision says, then they lived happily ever after, that's the whole concept of the series, the lie that she's trying to tell herself. Like, this is kind of a version of her talking to herself because Vision is supposed to be dead. She can't deal with the trauma of that, like you see her looking all depressed in modern day in her jammies here, sitting on the couch. Like, she looks like she hasn't been sleeping really well. So she creates a reality where he's alive again and where she can have this happily ever after, as she says, that she always wanted. So she's metaphorically and literally writing her own story. Then you get the glitching TV screen effect just to remind you that not everything works the way it's supposed to or the way that she wants it to, and it's a big House of M Easter egg. The cracks in the alternate reality start to show imperfections and things start to break down around her slowly. Back in the 1950s, they drive past the Westview sign, obviously West Coast Avengers. It says, "Home is where you make it," because she's literally making her new home with her reality warping powers. Kevin Feige was also joking about the fact that they've been so bad about defining what her abilities and Vision's abilities are. So that's why they're doing a lot of comic book Scarlet Witch stuff with her reality warping abilities, but tying that to the power of the Infinity Stones, like the Reality Stone. Then they're still in black and white, but now they've jumped to the 1960s, which is still technically the Bewitched era of TV shows, and she talks to him about fitting in. That's just more of them trying to keep this alternate reality from breaking down around them. She's also, as you notice, super pregnant at this point. Most of the scenes of her before she gives birth to the twins from the comics are still in the 1970s, like the Brady Bunch looking era. Then right after this is the scene of reality warping around them as they slowly move into the 1970s and they move into the era of color television. Then in the 1970s, you start to see their powers showing more, like Vision super speeds over to save her using his powers, probably without realizing that he has powers because he's still a construct created by Scarlet Witch. You do see him using his powers later in his full modern comic book costume, but that's probably well after he started to realize that something's not quite right. They kind of make it seem like Scarlet Witch, when she brings this version of him back to life, she doesn't give him all of his memories about dying in the events of Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame. Like, she just kind of skips over that part so that he just remembers all the happy things about their relationship. Like, as he glitches out here, maybe he starts to slowly remember what actually happened to him. Then she finally gives birth, we see the twins like we did in the other footage. Then the TV reality glitches again, and it seems like they're either in the 1980s or 1990s wearing the Halloween versions of their classic comic book costumes. This is going to be so funny. A lot of people didn't realize this is meant to be Halloween when this is happening. That's why their costumes look like they're Halloween costumes, because they are. This scene of Agatha Harkness coming in looks like it's happening in the 1980s though, just based on her outfit and her hairdo. She glitches out saying, "Let's take this from the top again," like they're actually living inside a TV show. She calls herself Auntie Agnes, but I believe she's meant to be a version of Agatha Harkness from the comics, so they may have just changed her name a little to modernize it. Like when she says, "I've got a few tricks up my sleeve," that's just a reference to her being a sorceress, just like Doctor Strange in the comics. She's one of Scarlet Witch's mentors in the world of magic in the comics. This scene of her repairing the house and the walls with her powers seems like it happens after the scene with Monica Rambeau, because in the other trailer footage, it seems pretty clear that they have some sort of run-in with Scarlet Witch, eventually throwing her out of this alternate reality. Like, notice the red energy around her as she's flying across the frame. They focus on the upside-down cross. I believe the upside-down cross is meant to be a sign of St. Peter, which I think is also a bit of a backdoor reference to her brother, Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver. There's supposed to be some other Quicksilver references during the show, but I don't know how much Quicksilver stuff we'll see. Then there's a scene of her back in the cell from the Captain America Winter Soldier post-credit scene. Like, she's wearing the outfit she was wearing when she was being experimented on by Baron von Strucker in his Hydra cell. She and Quicksilver were in the prison cells, and he'd been trying to use the Mind Stone to see if it had any effect on them because of the cosmic energy that it was giving off. At the time, they had not fully revealed that there was an Infinity Stone inside it. The way they edit the footage, though, makes it seem like when she touches the Mind Stone in front of her is when she enters the TV-based reality, because she's still wearing her regular street clothes when she enters through the TV and everything's still in black and white, including Vision. Then they have another montage of scenes cycling through the decades and the present day outside the bubble reality, like in the real continuity of the MCU. Like, you have Randall Park and the FBI trying to save Scarlet Witch from what he thinks is some villain, but little does he know she's actually the one doing this to herself because her mental state is starting to break down. She just can't handle Vision being dead. The episodes are starting on January 15th. Of course, I'll be doing videos for all of the episodes. It's only going to be 6 total, but they also have a couple bonus episodes of another Marvel series that's sort of a prequel to WandaVision called Marvel Legends. I have no idea what that's going to look like, but it's supposed to be a setup for WandaVision, and it's going to drop the week before. There'll be 2 episodes on January 8th, so I'll do videos for that stuff too. But this is sort of like the next big thing coming every Friday on Disney Plus after The Mandalorian Season 2. The Star Wars people also dropped a special Mandalorian Season 2 bonus episode for everything from Season 2, so I'll do a video for that this weekend as well. There's also obviously the Wonder Woman 1984 movie on HBO Max, so there'll be some videos for that as well. Bunch of big stuff coming for the holidays, so as long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see all those videos when I post them. I'll name a giveaway winner when I post my next Marvel video, but click here for that brand new Avengers Loki trailer for those episodes, and click here for all my Mandalorian Season 3 and Season 2 episode videos. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, Merry Christmas,